have y'all heard of a manga called Gachiakuta?
July.
That is next up. It's about like trash. It's about like junk. This kid lives in like the city that like floats above the ground, but he's from the slums, from the hood up there, right, from the ghetto. And so, but he loves digging through trash because he finds value in what other people throw away. He gets accused of something he didn't do, and the people who already shun him and look down on him and call him weird, and he's got like this thing going on with his hands. They blame him. He gets framed for the crime, and so they punish him by banishing him to the pit. So they drop him off the city, and he gets sent down to the pit, which is where all of the trash they throw away goes. And so like there are these gigantic trash beasts. The air is like toxic to breathe in the no man's land area where he's just landed. And he's saved by this guy named Engine. And Engine has this umbrella, and the ability system is like if you have a treasured item, your most valuable possession, you can turn that possession into a weapon. He can make anything into a weapon because he finds value in everything. I got all of you. If you're watching, you're going to be watching this show in July. I know I sold him. I know I got you. I got you.
And welcome back to another episode of the Big Eyes Podcast / the Lookout 210 / Summer at Kame's House / et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Man, listen, we're doing it all. We are doing it all. Yeah, listen, it's the voice, LJ. I'm here, and I'm never alone. It's Big Eyes. We're back. AD, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. It is, we doing a whole lot this summer, and I think this is a special one. The fact that we doing anime and manga at this time, dog. Shit. You might as well just have the full crossover branding at this point, man.
Hey, listen, we doing we got some, something special planned for today. A first episode review. And it's not a full manga. I don't want to say like a full manga review, but just an introduction area of like what this manga is about, how we're feeling about it so far. Why do we think that right now is one of the more popular ones? I mean, I think this, when the anime was announced, everybody was in an uproar about it. People were very excited to hear that it was announced. And episode 1 is here today, so you'll hear the review the day after the episode drops. But honestly, we were talking about, is it Gachiakuta?
I think Gachiakuta.
Gachiakuta. We gonna probably butcher it. It's okay. At least we're not saying the X in Hunter x Hunter. Let's. AD, how's your weekend? It's 4th of July weekend. I know that we not really celebrating America right now, but
we celebrate days off around here, brother.
We celebrating the days off.
Any chance, man. But it was straight, man. Put some ribs on the grill, enjoy the time off. Yeah, just happy to actually get some time to relax. And I really spent it just reading this and catching up on a little anime here. Just enjoying the fact that it's summer, bro. I for the first time in a while, I felt like I was out of school, you know what I'm saying? And just was able to enjoy time off and being in the essence of summer, you know what I'm saying? Like, when was the last time you ever felt like you were just like actually enjoying summer vacation? You know that feeling?
I mean, this weekend definitely for sure felt like that. Last time I really felt, I think this is usually the 4th of July weekend, especially with 4th of July falling on a Friday. And then how my work schedule is, how I don't work on Mondays. So I was just like, oh man, like a nice long weekend, being outside, although it was mad hot here. And anyone that knows me knows the last thing I like being is hot. I will have an attitude. I will be upset.
I got
but no,
tan
man,
lines on my arm for being in the sun too long.
I can't lie. I got a nasty farmer's tan right now. it's nasty work. Like how my arm fades. It's crazy. I gotta go outside and I gotta even it out somehow, some way. But but no, like I think I think this weekend was just fun. You don't really get that feeling much as an adult, obviously, because work never stops, things never stop, but it's always fun, able, especially during the summertime. I try to a lot during the weekends too, just make it feel like, all right, I'm on summer break. Going to the lakes and just being outside, just enjoying. Especially here, like the
Yeah.
whole our outside time be limited. Um,
Oh
so
man.
when we get it, for sure, I try to take as much advantage of it as I possibly can. Um, yeah, but no, good weekend. I gotta ask, we about to deviate from anime real quick. All right, what's your ribs process? What's your ribs process on the grill?
Oh man. All right.
Are
So
we making our own charcoal? Are we burning the wood? Are we getting the how
so
how
it
how in depth are we getting on the grill here?
so this weekend was actually like I felt like I was in some food wars type shit. So I got some different like some spice mixes from the farmers market. And I was like, let me see if I can tweak it a little bit. So I got two kinds of ribs. I got the St. Louis style ribs, and then I got some baby backs. And I split the St. Louis style in half because I had some smaller pans. And typically what I'll do is take the membrane off, um soak them in some either apple cider vinegar or some distilled vinegar, and then just like let them sit for a while, just to have that process
Do you do the spice mixture in the vinegar?
going. Not
Wait,
necessarily. I actually
vinegar.
nah. I'll do, if anything, I'll do like onions, just to like tenderize the meat a little bit, or some Worcester sauce.
So the onions, the Worcestershire sauce, and the vinegar. That's the only thing you soaking them in.
Yeah, maybe some salt or whatever like that. But that's really like that's about it. Maybe some lemon juice too. Like
I don't listen, man, bro. I don't want you to give away all the methods.
yeah,
Listen,
it,
we gotta keep some secrets, some secrets.
yeah. But
But okay, for sure. Because when 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 I grill, I like to keep. I will do something very similar with the
mhm.
vinegar brine. And I always keep a little bit extra on the side. I put it in a spray bottle. So when
See
I'm
that,
grilling,
my
you hit
brother.
it.
I already know it. Trust me. That was a part of the process.
listen. I keep you gotta keep a mixture, just
Yeah.
that extra mix. You gotta hit the mist on it. You gotta hit
Because you don't want it to be dry and nothing like that. Listen, man.
all right. Okay, so we're brining them.
Yeah. Brine, drain it off a little bit. I try not to do the little mustard thing that folks be doing. Like I'll do it, but like it is what it is. But then I season them. So I had like five. Like I said, I had like five different things that I got from the farmers market. So I ended up trying Cajun, jerk. It was like a pineapple mango one that I was trying out. That one was actually not bad. And then I did a mixture of like curry and masala and turmeric with
Okay.
like some
Man,
like
crazy.
cayenne.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, listen,
yeah,
we getting a wide variety of flavor profiles here. Okay,
yeah. I
we
was
cook
trying a couple different things. It was actually not bad too. Hey,
cooking.
yeah. I'll send the pictures if folks want to see them. But like and then if Bucky's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually got like a bottle of their sauce. So I ended up doing like
Oh,
a carne asada mix, and then
what type
like
of barbecue sauce person are you?
I'm really not like a barbecue sauce person, but I do fuck with Bucky's. So I wanted to try it out. Like
Okay. So are you
I'm not a Sweet Baby Ray's. I'll eat it, but
yeah,
like I'm not one of them.
listen, Sweet Baby Ray's is just a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Always love it. So on your ribs, are you not saucing them? Is it just a plain rib kind of ordeal, and you put the sauce on the side if you want to dip it or what, you do your thing like that?
This time for the Bucky's, I actually put them on there. So like I actually like glazed them over, but I tried to do the little butter, add some more seasoning or whatever like that, and
Okay.
just place them
Listen,
down. But like I'm more of a dry rib person, and then
okay.
like have the
And this is
juices
my
soaked
favorite
in.
thing, and this is my favorite thing about barbecue culture, because I
Yeah.
have to call it a culture because that's really what it is. Because you can go to so many different regions in America, especially the South, and you're going to get different types of barbecue every single time. Like
Yeah.
the styles are different, the seasoning is different, the how they sauce it, if they do sauce it, even your barbecue sauces are going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
This is like my favorite thing in the world because it's just like, and listen, AD, I've seen you throw down on the grill before. I've gotten the FaceTime. All right. Listen, I've gotten
Listen,
the FaceTime while this man is on the grill before. So I know AD gets down and can get down on the grill. We keeping recipes alive around here.
of course. I'm not trying to be one of them folks who, when we have cookouts and everything, everybody trying to figure out who throwing down. Man, I already got the shit smoking from 7 o'clock this morning. You feel me? Like I'm up
Yeah.
early. This is the crazy part. Like in my apartment complex, there's like only so many grills, and like some of them, like they're supposed to be like gas tank grills or whatever like that, right? But I'm not gonna give away too much. But just know that niggas was mad as fuck that they didn't put out the gas tanks in time. So he started putting out charcoals in the gas tank grills. And so now they don't even bother to actually put the tanks in there no more because people done fucked them up. So now they're actually like regular charcoal grills. Long story short, there was an old man out here on the one gas tank grill at like 5 o'clock in the morning, already grilling on the fourth. And I know this because I was trying to get out there early too and put the ribs on the grill. And I just seen him out there. I was like, God damn, bro, you old heads always be up early. They already know the game. They've been doing this for too long. You know, they know how long shit gonna take, and people gonna be hangry by 4 o'clock, especially on a day off when people like us will probably wake up a little bit later, like our people in our age group.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not
Yeah.
okay, so I grilled, was it 2 weekends ago? Maybe it was last weekend, but 2 weekends ago. Um and I had to use a gas grill. I can't do it. I don't like gas grills. And I'm not against anyone who does like them. If you, I like it, I understand the convenience, and I understand the level of control that it allows people to have over their grilling.
Yeah.
But me, charcoal me, baby. Charcoal
Yeah.
every single time, twice on a Sunday, bro.
Are you like a
Like
normal charcoal person? Do you like to do like the match lights? Like, what's your go-to charcoal? And like, do you add like cherry wood?
I add wood, and sometimes I add wood every time.
Okay.
So I would do a mixture of the charcoal and the wood. I always use my chimney starter.
Okay.
I I've been someone put me onto the tumbleweeds.
Listen, I be seeing that method. I'm like, damn.
Someone put me onto the tumbleweeds, and I rock with the tumbleweeds. I can't lie. So, but no, I always use my chimney starter. I always use like a mixture of like charcoal and wood. I'll try,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll even soak my wood the night before in like either some apple juice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was a method that shout out TB. He showed me that method years ago. Um, but yeah, but no, but the chimney starter, you get it started. It's easier for me to feel like I could create my hot spots and my hot zones. I
Yeah.
could let charcoal out how I wanted to. Sometimes I'll overload everything on one side and then keep
Mm-hmm.
one side pretty like light. So then I could have my hot spots there. I could
Mm-hmm.
get very fast sear on things. I could just move things to the side so I could just like kind of let the heat and the smoke. So no,
Mm-hmm.
there's no, I just love charcoal though. I can't. I like propane gas. Listen, as much as I love King of the Hill, and Hank gonna want to beat my ass,
He be
but
trying to sell folks on it, man. But
I can't get with it. But no, okay, for sure. How so? Do you do when you're doing your ribs? You smoke them all the way through?
I try to, like, I like to fall off the bone. Like, I want to make sure that they're smoked all the way through.
Okay, okay.
But I keep adding, like, I'll add like the spray and everything like that, or I'll keep adding either water or apple cider to kind of like keep the liquid going through it. So like with this time, I made sure to, like I said, I had like a little pans for each of the ribs. So after I did the sear, I put them in the pans, wrap the pans up, let them like steam up a little bit, smoke, add some liquid, let them like keep the juice flowing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. We can't give away rest of the
yeah,
rest.
yeah, yeah.
We got
Sometimes you got to put people on game just a little bit, you know.
just a little bit, man. Listen, but no, I can't. You yeah, spoiler alert, I'm going down to Atlanta in a couple weekends, so I'm excited, bro, to
Yeah,
down there to eat all that. I gotta know what the barbecue scene. I mean, I haven't been to Atlanta since I was freaking like 16 years old. And at the time,
there.
when you're 16 in Atlanta, you can't really experience the city how you want to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm excited for the to go as an adult now. But we're here to talk about anime, manga, uh Gachiakuta. What
yeah.
do you think it is about this manga, about this anime that got a lot of people ready and gravitating towards it?
It's funny because I hate to make this comparison, but it feels like the same type of gravity that people had for Kagurabachi, in that it was somewhat hyped when it was first coming out, but I think the extra layer of that was, you know, the author of Gachiakuta, Kei Urana, was assistant to the creator of Fire Force. So when Gachiakuta was about to come out, the writer Okubo was like, yeah, she's next up. You know what I'm saying? He actually like put her on the map. So I think that was a part of it. So if your teacher say no, she like that, and you come up with that first chapter, the first episode that we just experienced, I think that was the biggest factor. And like the style, the steampunk esque ness of it, dystopian civilization, very Attack on Titan esque in a way. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of different things that you get into when you get to like the first chapter, first episode, that I think people were really drawn into when it comes to this world. Um, how you feel about it?
You know, when I first started reading it, I was I was drawn to the dystopian setting of it. I think
Yeah.
lately we've been getting a lot of exorcism and demons, and I felt the setting for a lot of things have felt the same.
Hmm.
Well, I like the fact that this one felt different than what we kind of been reading. Um and especially how they've, even from chapter 1 or even episode 1. We'll talk more manga talk now, and then transition into the episode. But reading it, the setting, I think the intricacies of the setting, how like detailed the drawing was, like, all right, I'm feeling this. You set it
Hmm.
into, you put in this dystopian future kind of thing. Um, Meeting Rudo as a main character, he isn't um he isn't boring me, which is good.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they've actually added a little bit of emotional depth to him early really helps
Hmm.
his,
I
like,
got
especially.
a little summary, just like a real quick, like quick plot summary. You want to go through it real quick, just to kind of set the stage for what we're going to experience. Um, so with Gachiakuta, the story follows a boy named Rudo who lives in the slums of a wealthy civilization that flies high in a sky society called the Sphere. He, along with his foster father Recto, live among the tribesfolk population in the slums, descended from criminals who were exiled from the upper class society. And their rule is that pretty much if you commit a crime, you'll be sentenced to death by dropping into the pit off the spear. And then one day, after meeting with his crush, he returns home, finds Recto near death, but before he passes, he tells him to change the world. Police come in, charge him with murder, and sentence him to fall into the pit. You know, that right there is kind of like the pretty much the synopsis of like, okay, shit, like what, how did you even let this happen? You know what I'm saying? Like you already get the society, you know, what with him and his foster father, how they're living in this like part of the sky society in the slums. It's like, dang, bro, y'all already got ostracized by the wealthy people, like the upper class. Y'all can't really like live how y'all want to live. Um, you know, you got Rudo digging through trash, trying to find the value in things. I think the biggest thing for the biggest, I want to say, phrase for this is like one man's trash is another man's treasure. Like that's a
Yeah,
theme in this entire series. Um, because he's going around and digging through all the trash of the wealthy people. And he goes and fixes it up and tries to like give it away or sell it after he fixes it. So I think there's like one aspect of Rudo's character that I really enjoy, like him just like finding the value in broken things.
yeah, and you see also too um his want to do that comes from his upbringing
Yeah.
and how he even viewed himself as a broken thing and how he viewed himself as a uh his his parents is kind of like abandoning him, so him kind of having this weird connection with trash of just being like, man, yo, like my own parents just threw me to the side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was, and he found someone who saw him as a baby, take him in and treat him as if he wasn't. So it's like he sees these broken things and he's just like, man, people just throw this stuff away and waste it away, when it's like, if you give it just a little bit of love and care, like it's gonna still, you can still treat this thing as if it is brand new.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I
so,
think that's the oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's the best part about it, where it's like you see him build up his relationship with Recto, in like the first chapter, where he's like, yeah, I was trying to do all of this stuff and fix it all up because he gets caught up, trying to find the trash, and the police come and find him. They start shooting at him. He gets away, but Recto hears about it and he's like, bro, you gotta watch out. If they catch you, you going off the side, bro. And Rudo is like, really, I just wanted to show my appreciation and thanks for you because you didn't have to take me in, but you're the only family I got. And that's one of the heartwarming moments that we get early on to see the side of Rudo where he's really a caring person, but you got some other people who realize that his father, they bring it up too, like his father was actually a criminal, a mass murderer or whatever, and went on a killing spree, which is why they're also, what they claim to say is why they're in the slums. So he gets ostracized a lot by even the slums people because of his father's thing, where that's not him, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can you judge him for something that he didn't even do, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly. And um I like this theme of trash. It was They're making it work. I didn't
Mhm.
think that this theme of trash would work, but they're making it work. I was like, okay, like they're just throwing these things away, but then you start kind of seeing the deeper connection with it of just like how people's connection with things,
Mhm.
like materialistic things and how they treat it and how that ties into kind of how people treat other people.
Mhm.
So you start to see that, you kind of start seeing that, once again they're talking about like if you love something, you really care about it, and this ties a lot into once we definitely start getting introduced to the powers
Yeah.
and start being a giver. Um, just kind of like the energy that we give these things, like makes them come alive for us. And so like them tying that whole theme into this, I was like, all right, like I'm like they're making it work. I was like, I'm messing with it. I'm rocking with it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would like you said, I wouldn't think that that would be a thing. Like, but when you see that it's not something inherent for real, like ki or chakra or anything like that. It's just like the attention that you gave something, the amount of care that you put into it. Like, imagine you kept a Game Boy or something like that for like 20 years ago, and then you just like you still dusted it off, you still played it, new batteries, you know what I'm saying? Kept it in the case and everything, and all of a sudden, bro, that shit like gives you HD graphics on a Switch type shit. You know what I'm saying? You could use that as a, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would never thought that. Like, you get introduced to Engine after Rudo falls off the side and he ends up in the on the grounds. You get introduced to Engine, and his main weapon is an old umbrella, but that is probably one of the more deadliest uses of an umbrella that you have seen in a minute, dog. Like,
Now he cooks with it. He goes so
yeah,
crazy. So moving along story wise, so there is something they call the pit, and that's not only where they throw all the trash, but that's where they throw the criminals.
yeah,
And our our main character, he gets framed for murder. They throw him in the pit. We get down there, and to him, he just thinks this is just this place where all this trash is. But we're put into this mystical land where trash is can turn into monsters because of all the negative energy that it produces. So they
hmm,
turn into these trash monsters, and we get introduced to a group and a faction called the Cleaners.
yeah,
I love a good faction.
yeah.
Don't you just love a good faction in anime? A good group.
This is probably I think I like all the names of each of the factions that they give us. Like, they just make sense. Like, the Cleaners just make sense, bro.
The
It's
Cleaners is so tough. The Bandits, like
the
the way
Raiders,
the
like,
Raiders, like oh my gosh, like it's really like we love a good faction. And this and how they introduce them and how they introduce each member of the Cleaners and even other factions, but the Cleaners is the main one. So the
yeah,
Cleaners are a group, and they are a group that defeats the Trash Beast essentially.
yeah.
Um, and there's a mix. So there are support members that have no powers,
Hmm.
um, but they help. But they're still strong in their own right. They go into the battlefield to help assist the Cleaners, and then you have the Givers who do have powers. And what Givers are is essentially they have the power to turn an item in which that they really cared for. Um, they it essentially the care that they give to whatever item that they have, it turns into a weapon. And I forgot what's the name of the energy that it's called. It's
Um, I don't think it's like an energy, but they call them like vital instruments or something like that.
they're called vital instruments, but remember they talk about it was like it's the same core that creates the trash beast. Um,
Oh,
what's it
what
called?
did they call that? Ah, I know what you're talking about. It's been a minute, like anima or something.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah,
So essentially, it's just kind of this energy that they is imbued with their vital instruments that allows them to actually kill the trash beast because they can't be killed with normal weapons. Um, so we get down there, we get entry. Rudo's get he get thrown in what they call no man's land. So
hmm,
down in this pit, you're introduced to another world where there are areas that are considered safe zones where people can actually live and eat and have these small communities. And outside of those safe zones are essentially danger zones, and there are the most dangerous ones are called no man's land. So that's
hmm.
they're just like you can't even breathe the air in it because they say you would die within 15 minutes if you don't have a gas mask. Um, So I once again, I'm liking the mapping. I'm liking the setting as they go along. You kind of see though that these areas down there, they're very lawless.
Yeah,
So even in these communities, you have people who are, they are people who, what do they call them, a spherite.
yeah.
So
If you came from the sphere and fell down but survived, they call you a spherite. And the people who are on the ground in the pit, they don't fuck with spirites because they keep dropping their trash down there. So they just see all spirites as just like, uppity folks. So they every time that a spherite falls to the ground, they try to get a chance to like rob them or you know, use them for human trafficking. It's a bunch of different stuff. Like Rudo even gets caught up into the situation when he falls down there. And they just really they really are they have laws. Each group has like their own different laws, but it's really a lawless land because if you don't have any money, if you don't have if you're not a giver or anything like that, it's really you know all you're all on your own essentially. And we get to see like different kinds of people live in these different areas. So like with the safe zone, one of the safe zones is a town full of graffiti, you know, and they try to the graffiti is drawn by a giver who has the power to like draw, and whatever they draw with the graffiti or whatever graffiti they draw, they're able to imbue a spell on it to protect the town. You know what I'm saying? So there's some type of laws here and there based on what givers are down there. But they do try to give like givers a bigger emphasis. But I enjoy the fact that like with the cleaners, they seem like a group of like found family, especially for Rudo who lost his he was ostracized by his group, and they saw his past, or they wanted to understand his past, but they took him in even though Rudo himself is like, man, I'm really just trying to get back up there and get my revenge, because I ain't fuck with none of that. I don't know who to trust. I don't know what to do down here. But you got these group of people who are willing to take him in and show him that this world is a lot better, no, a lot cleaner than he thinks it is, even though it's very dirty down there. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I do fuck with them. The one group that I do like getting introduced are the Raiders. Um, which are the bandit givers, and we got introduced to one main raider named Jabber Wonger. Shout out to Zeno, or he's voicing that character in the anime. But
oh, is he tight?
yes, yes.
Of course, they give him the nigga with the dreads, huh? That's that's crazy.
Nah, he kind of tough though. He got a tough character to play.
Do your thing, bro.
Yeah, yeah. But Jabber is a cool character. Very. Oh, how can I describe him? Very eccentric, very sociopathic. He uses claws with poison and neurotoxins in them. Um, and his goal is to find Rudo and take him back to their boss. Um, because the design on Rudo's glove, we didn't even talk about Rudo's powers. Hold up, scratch
Yeah,
that.
Rudo. So when we get down there, Rudo is like, obviously everyone's has an item specific to them, and
Yeah,
only your item is the item that you can control. Uh, with Rudo, since his powers are in his gloves that was given to him by his dad, his power, he's able to essentially draw out any latent power in anything that he touches with his gloves. So
yeah.
anything that he grabs, he essentially can turn into a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really limited to like with other people who have, you have the girl with just the scissors or the stick or the umbrella or
Mm-hmm.
we saw the poison of the claw. So each giver kind of has their own pocket, and he's able to expand his. It's kind of
Yeah.
being like a specialist in Hunter x Hunter. Like it's just
Yeah.
like he's able to expand his and do a lot more with his powers, which is really cool. And how they even design it, because they don't design it in a way that is like that makes him so OP, where it's like, oh, he can never lose a battle. Like
Hmm.
even with his battle with Jabber, like he his the weapon that he chose was the prayer necklace, and with that he was able to draw out the latent prayer that was within the necklace, which is for protection. So it was all about defense. So
Hmm.
it gave him a defensive advantage, but offensively he still had to figure something out, and then there were still disadvantages to that. So I like the fact that they've given him a power that makes him special, but also have found a way to like not make it like he's just this all powerful being that can just do whatever.
Yeah. And I think the best part about it is like it uses his quirk of something that people would have thrown away or found as trash that he would consider valuable too. So it's something about him finding something that's valuable to him that allows him to draw out the power. If it's something that's already fixed up that he doesn't see as like, something worth carrying around, then it won't work. Um so he does that with several different things. They do like a whole little testing arc to kind of figure out his powers. But then even with that, if he does it too much and it pulls out of the latent energy of all the other stuff too much, he'll get a nosebleed and start to pass out. So that's another side effect. He can't do it too much, you know. And I appreciate them for giving him multiple side effects and disadvantages in fights. So like he has an endurance disadvantage. He can't really do it that much when it comes to like whatever prayers for the items that he's using. You know, but it's all plays a role in the kind of person that he is and how he takes care of those gloves. Um, to which they make a point that the design on the gloves themselves means something because you see that design on other items that other givers are using as well. Um, so that's a part of the mystery with whatever is going on with whoever created these specific items. Like, um, I just appreciate them taking the time to actually give everybody something that they care for, like
Yeah,
it lends itself to like showing that, hey, people, even though there are bad guys, even though that there are a lot of people who have like their different quirks or whatever like that, they all have something that they actually care about. So everybody is very different. And I think Engine he has like one moment where he talks to Rudo and he's like, you can't really differentiate good and evil for real because a good guy could, not find the value in something. He could throw something away, you know what I'm saying? And a bad guy has something that he's willing to protect and care for. So it's not as black and white as it is. It's gray areas in all of life. It's just how you go about it for yourself, you know.
absolutely. Um, and once again, it's not a full manga review, but
Yeah.
I think that within these first few volumes that we read, um, I'm very invested. I think I'm
Yeah.
very invested in this story. I love the grittiness of it. There's some humor in there. It gives me the same vibes as um, so like for some reason it gives me some Soul Eater
Yeah.
uh inspiration in it. There is some,
Hmm.
you can tell there's a little bit of JJK in there. You can tell there's just a kind of some other. I
I get a
feel
little My Hero.
yeah, you definitely get some My Hero in there. Even like later My Hero.
Yeah.
I feel like that probably last third of My Hero, you could see some inspiration from that. Um, Especially with the art style. Art style
Hmm.
wise, it has some of that in there. So you can tell that the mangaka was taking inspirations from other pretty like, dark fantasy, some other shonen, and was just putting their own spin on it.
Hmm.
That I think all of it coming together, it really is helping create a very well-rounded story with some really great characters that are involved with it. Um,
It also
going,
feels
what's up?
I was gonna say it also like one thing about the world and like the story, it also feels like very primed for like a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like the world that you want to explore, the different characters that you want to like team up with, and like you got quests that you need to take on as a cleaner. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if there is a game for Gachiakuta that comes out in a few years that kind of tackles some of that stuff.
No, it would definitely be a great game too. Very very Final Fantasy esque.
Hmm.
Um, so I think overall this manga is doing something shonen wise that is fun. It's a little bit new. It's a little bit deviant of kind of what more has been going on in that realm, especially when everyone wants to be an exorcist. Uh, I think he just gives some good different themes. It taps in emotionally for characters. You start to see growth. You start to see kind of those internal struggles. And obviously, you got to have your cool, sexy characters that everyone's gonna
Hmm.
love, cosplay all next year. So, moving on to this first episode review. So it dropped today that we're recording July 6th. How are you feeling episode 1? About how you think this anime is gonna go.
Um, I'm feeling really good about it. There are they stuck the landing pretty well. There wasn't too many changes that they made that felt unnecessary. There were some things I was like, why did you do that? But like I think overall, the direction that they went for it is in terms of like him getting caught up in the dumpster haul and jumping on the truck, running away from the police and everything, kind of the emotions and expressions that he had gave him a lot of character and life, compared to the expressions that he had in the manga. Like I feel like it was a lot more, you know, clear, concise, and gave a lot of life to the characters themselves. It felt some of the expressions felt kind of creepy, like the Regto character. His was a little bit more on the creepy side because they felt like he had like big outliner eyes and everything like that, and it just felt kind of weird. But at the same time, I think they still did a good job of giving him expression in life. Um, one of the characters, the masked man, I think they did a decent job with giving him more expressions. Even though they changed the scene with him killing Recto,
And
where
there was even some conversation between um Rudo and Recto that they didn't put in there.
yeah,
Like there's some moments in there. Um Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
no,
off.
you good.
I think first episode it felt very rushed. And I feel that the reason why it felt so rushed is because they really wanted to captivate with the animation.
Hmm.
I mean, shoot, there was barely any words for like the first 10 minutes. Oh, it was just like heavy action sequence, things going on, but no, I think it has felt rushed. I like that they're really leaning into the dark fantasy of this. So it looks really gritty.
Yeah,
The characters do, the colors do. So I like the fact they're leaning into that. There's some things that first that they cut out from the first few chapters that I feel kind of doesn't hit the same. Like I said, the conversation, like there's one more interaction between Rudo and Recto that they missed. And even how they introduced the mystery character, the Max Man that ends up killing Recto. Is that spoiler alert? No, you see it in the
mm,
first episode. It's not
yeah,
spoiler. But you see the mask character that ends up killing Recto. Like there was an interaction beforehand that I felt was more impactful in the manga than it was in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some things that I feel they could have done better, especially first episode wise. Some things they cut out. I kind of felt the same way, even like not about Sakamoto Days, but Sakamoto Days, I felt they cut a lot of stuff. And I always feel like this feels so
Yeah.
much faster than what it really was.
Because they got to hit the emotional plot points and beats to captivate the audience. So,
Yeah, so there's some things though they cut out or end up not doing that I felt was like, man, this is really impactful though. Maybe reading wise that I wish they would have hit on. But no,
the
overall though, I think it was a good first episode. I think they kind of, they ended it at a nice cliffhanger. You don't give away too much. I know they're running it in 2 cores, so I want, 12 episodes each core. So we're going to see how, how that plays out. But like I said, first episode wise, not too bad, not too shabby.
Yeah. Do you think this has a chance at being in the anime of the year conversation off the first episode alone?
First episode alone, no.
Okay.
Not off first episode alone. Do I feel that it will be though at the end of it? Yes.
I can agree with that.
After reading the first few volumes, knowing like some of the hype around it, and knowing that things that will most likely be covered in season 1, this could easily we could see this having its moment. Do I feel it sweeps the awards or anything? Probably not. Usually there is one anime that always does. I don't feel this is going to be it. I think it will go against season 2 of Solo Leveling.
Man, I'm still sick about that, dog. You're right, though.
I think it's going against season 2 of Solo Leveling, which will once again most likely be a clean sweep. But do I think it stays popular and people will enjoy it? Yeah, I do. I do think as the story goes along.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You can read it officially on the K Manga app. I'm just leave it at that.
Someone here was bending the rules, but on the K Manga app, it's actually pretty easy to find online.
Yeah.
No, it actually was pretty easy to find online, which was cool. Which is nice, like reader friendly stuff. But yeah, no, I will say that definitely, guys, tap into it. It is Big Eyes stamped approved. We think that it will continue to go on. I mean, it's at 140 chapters already. I don't know in terms of I will continue to read and catch up. I don't know how long I feel it's gonna run, but if it's already reached 140, that's a good sign.
Very good sign.
So thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Lookout / Big Eyes. You already know where to find us on Twitter and Instagram, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube at the Lookout RNC. Thank you guys very much for tuning in this episode. Summer at Comics House, we're still going strong, and we'll see y'all next week.